So today we are going to discuss about operators. So what is meant by operators is if you want to do different operations in any programming language, we need operators. Operators plays very important role to perform the operations. In Java, we have different categories of operators like arithmetic operators, bitwise operators, and we have relational operators, and we have the logical operators. So by using these four categories of operators, we can perform different operations. So already you know about the operator like addition, and already you know about the subtraction. These all regularly we are using in different addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo operator, increment operator, and addition assignment. So what is addition assignment is rather than writing the statement a is equal to a plus b, what we write is a is equal to plus is equal to b. So a is equal to a plus b is equal to a plus is equal to b. That is that. So that is called as addition assignment. Like that, a is equal to rather than writing a is equal to a minus b, we write a minus is equal to b. Like rather writing a is equal to a to b, we write a to is equal to b. So these are called as multiplication assignment operators. Like that, we have division, modulo, and decrement operators. So basically, whatever these operators were having, they all apply on the numeric type of data only. We can apply only on the numeric. So we cannot use these operators on string data like that. And next, we cannot use them on boolean days, but the char types allows some of these addition and addition operator is on the character. Why? Because char carry the subset of the int. So this is a simple program how we can perform addition or these arithmetic operators. So already you are familiar with arithmetic operators in C programming language. That's why I'm not discussing here. So next one is here. See this particular program by this what you can understand is here I have int a is equal to minus 5 and I have written b is equal to plus a. What will happen is a plus minus will become minus. That's why b contains the minus value. That's why whenever I print system.println b, the output I am getting is the minus 5. Again I am assigned b is equal to minus a. Then what is happened? A is already minus 5, minus minus becomes plus, and b value will get the 5. So that's how the unary minus will be worked out in the Java programming language. So next topic is modulus operator. What is modulus operator is it is going to return the remainder of remainder. So when you perform the division operation, the remainder will be given by the this particular modulo operator. So for example, see the small program. Here I have x is equal to 42 and y is equal to 42.5. If I perform x mod 10, what is the remainder we got? 2. And like that, after that, if you perform y mod, y contains the value 42.25. If you perform the mod operation, what is the output you're going to get is 2.5. So, so like this, the mod operator will give us the remainder. What is the remainder after performing division? The remainder will be given by the modulus operator. Next. So previously we discussed with this operator. Next topic is arithmetic compound assignment operators. What is arithmetic compound assignment operators is you have written a is equal to a plus 4. Rather than writing a is equal to a plus 4, how we can write is a plus is equal to 4. And next, here we have written a is equal to a minus 4. Rather than writing a is equal to a minus 4, we can write a minus is equal to 4. We can write. So what is the advantage is they can improve the efficiency. So unnecessarily rather than using an extra variable, simply with efficiency of the statement will be improved. That's why we use this particular compound assignment operators. A is equal to a minus a is equal to a into 4 can written as a into is equal to 4. So that is the advantage of the arithmetic. So they can the main purpose of arithmetic compound assignment operators is improving the efficiency of the program. Performance of the program will be improved. So the sample program of using arithmetic assignment operators. So next concept is increment decrement operators. So I will discuss these increment decrement operators by writing a small program. Then you can better understand how this part of thing. So Now I have a variable int a is equal to 4, and I have int b is equal to 5, and we take another variable c. Now what we can write is, here where I will write int c is equal to plus a, and let us print the a value. And again, after this statement, we will write the another. So here we have written post, here is written pre-increment operator. Now we are going to write post-increment operator. So let us try to find out what is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment. Now here we print the c value, and here also we print c value. So let us save this program. Then meanwhile, try to estimate what is the output of the program we are expecting. So, so what is the output you are expecting? Note down your output on the paper. Then I will tell the, I will compile the program next good. Then I will justify why I got that kind of an answer. So unnecessarily I have put the data type here. Let us remove it. So now the program is compiled, and execute the program. And here it is showing. So here also we need to c value is c value is c value is. So let us compile the program, and so both the times it is showing c value is 5. Why it is showing the c value is 5 is, so see the difference. Why? Here what is happened is, initially the a value is 4, and here what I have done, c is equal to plus a. So it is a pre-increment operator. Whenever the pre-increment operator you are using, what will happen is, first the value will be incremented, then the value will be assigned. So that's why what happened is, the value will be incremented to 4. The a value is 4, it is incremented to 5, and that incremented 5 value is assigned to the c, and that's why I got c value is 5 here. What is happened with respect to the c is equal to a plus plus c is, here the first the value will be assigned. That's why initially what is the a value 5, that's why c is containing the value 5, and after that the a value is incremented. Now let us check a value 6 or not. Now try to print out the a value here. So here a value we try to print. Now a value what we'll get is, we get the a value 6. But why the c is equal to a plus plus is cos only 5 is, first of all the value is assigned. After assigning the value, it is incremented. That is the why we got the c value 5 only. So that let us understand the difference between pre-increment and post-increment. What is meant by pre-increment operator is, what is meant by pre-increment operator is, first value will be incremented, then assigned. That is how the pre-increment will work. And what is post-increment is, first value assigned, then incremented, then the value will be incremented. That is the basic difference between the post-increment operator and post increment operator. Now let us try to find out the difference between pre-decrement. So let us try to find out the what is meant by pre-increment and post-decrement. Pre-decrement and post-decrement. So let us see. Now what is the values are expecting? Initially a value is 4, and what is the c value here we get? Let us check. Here also what we are getting is c value is 3 3. Why we are getting like this? So first of all, what is happened? Initially a value is 4. First of all, the value will be decremented. First of all, the value will be decremented. Then the value will be assigned. Here also, first of all, the value is assigned. Then after that, the value is decremented. So this is the major difference between pre-decrement and post-decrement. So I think you understand what is the difference between the pre-increment and post-increment and pre-decrement and post-decrement operators. So let us focus on the next operators. So next operators are bitwise operators. So basically these bitwise operators can be applied on the data types like long, int, short, char, byte, and so these are the many bitwise operators we are having. Those are negation and end or exclusive or, and after that we have shift right operator, shift right zero fill operator, and shift left, and we have bitwise end assignment, and we have or assignment, like that we have these all compound operators are also available. Let us see the one by one operators once. So let us see this animation. By this you can understand how the end operator is going to work. So if you represent the initially the a value is 10. If you represent a in the binary form, it is like 1 0 1 1 0 1 0. And if you represent 12, it is like 110. So what is end operation? 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 1 1. So 1 0 0, what is the value? 8. So that's why when the we write int c is equal to a and b, it is going to print the value 8. So if you perform the program, it is going to print the value a. So again see it. So initially we have represented the 10 value in terms of binary form 1 0. So what is why we got 1 0 1 0 8 4 2 1 8 4 2 1. In the place 8 1 is placed in the 2's place. So 8 0 1 8 2 1 10. That's why we got. So the initial perform the operation 0 0 0 1 0 0. What is end operation? 1 1 only 1. True true only true only. So that is why. So it's happen only 1 1 1. So that's why. What is 1 0 1 0? 1 0 1 0 is 8. So that's why if you perform end operation with the 10 and 12, the value, the output we are going to produce is the 8. So this is how the end operator is going to work out. So next see the next operator, that is OR operator. What is OR operator? Again we represented the 10 in terms of binary form. Again we represented the 12 in also binary form. We perform OR operation. What is OR operation? 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 1, and 1 1 is also 1. What is the 1 1 1 0? What is 1 1 1 0? 1 1 1 0 is 14. That's why if you perform OR operation with 10 and 12, we are going to get the 14. So this is how the OR operator is going to work out in the Java any programming language. So next try to find out what is meant by exclusive OR. Here the cap symbol. So this is the cap symbol which is used for the exclusive OR. So 10 is represented in the binary form and 12 is also represented in the binary form. And if you perform exclusive, what is exclusive operator? 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 1. But 1 1 is 0. Only 0 true false true, false true true. So false 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 false, and true true also false. So that's why we got 1 1 0 0 1 1 0. What is that value? It is nothing but 6. That's why if you perform exclusive OR between 10 and 12, it is going to print the value 6. So next operator is negate operator. Here I have written a is equal to 3. If you represent it as in a binary form, I take it a byte. Byte means 8 bits. So if you take it is 1 1. So whenever there is negation is there, 1 1 is converted into 0. 1 1 0. So 0 is again turned to 1. So 1 becomes 0, 0 becomes 1. So finally, if you translate that particular value, so like this, 0 transmitted to 1 and 1 transmitted to 0. So finally I got this is the value. So negation. So it is nothing but -4. So this is how the negate operator is going to work out. Next operator is next operators are shift operators. So shift operators are very useful in terms of performing different calculations. So what is the shift operator is? Here I have a is equal to 3, and what I done is I done left shift by 2 bits. So what is left shift by two left shift by 2 bits is at the right hand side zeros will be added. So here what is happened is I have the number 3 are represented in this particular binary format. So 3 is represented in this particular binary format. So what will happen at the right hand side, two zeros are appended. So that's why these at left hand side bit two zeros will be removed. Now I introduce here. Now if you translate it, so what is the position is here? 8 and 4. So 8 and 4, 8 and 4, 12. So that's why if you the 3 is left shift by 2 bits will cause the value 12. And also one more rule we need to remember is left shift is equal to multiple. If you left shift one bit, it is equal to multiply by 2. Here what we've done, we've done 2 bits. That is 3 2s are 6, 6 2s are 12. So simply, so left shift is also called as left shift by 1 bit is equal to multiply by 2. Left shift is equal to multiply by 2. Remember, left shift by 1 bit is equal to multiply by 2. Next, here also, what is the, I'm having b is equal to 2. Be left shift by 2 bits. So I have represented in this particular binary format. Now what I'm simply doing is that at the right hand side 2 zeros are appended. So it is caused me minus 60. So I just now discussed it is equal to multiply by 2. 4 2 bits. 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. That's why I got. So this is also we can prove that we performed the left shift operation perfectly. And next one is redshift operator. What is redshift operator? Redshift operator is in Java. The redshift operator is also called as signed. Redshift operator is also called as the signed redshift operator. Why it is? It preserves the sign bit. It preserves the sign. Remember, it preserves sign bit. I will just explain. So see here. Here I have three value represented in this particular format. Now, what is this sign right sheet operator is called a sign bit is whatever the sign bit is there, it is preserved. Actually, in the right sheet, what in the right sheet what we do is at the left hand side we will add the zeros. But here, what is the sign bit 0? Here, what is the sign bit 1? The sign bit is preserved. To preserve the sign bit, whatever the most significant bit we are having, that particular most significant bit sign bit is automatically preserved in this particular position also. That's why the right shift operator is also called a signed thing. It's also called as the signed right shift. The sign is preserved. So now that's why. So 3. So and also one more thing is right shift operator is also called as divided by 2. So normally, for example, take it. One right shift is equal to divide by 2. 3 by so for 3 by 2, what how much? 1.5. Again, if you divide 1 by 1.5 by 2, you got something around 0. So that is the reason why. So the right shift operator is also called as. So remember, left is equal to multiply by 2 and right shift is equal to divided by 2. Remember. And also right shift operator is also called as the signed right shift. Why? Because the sign bit is preserved. Whatever the sign bit you are having at the most significant position, that is the value which is taken here. And here also the most significant position we have 1 and that 1 is taken. Otherwise not having filled with the zeros only. Let us discuss about unsigned right shift operator. See here. So here I have the 3. So with respect to positive values, there is no problem with the this particular unsigned right shift order. But with respect to the negative values, it's have the biggest problem. See here, I have minus 4. So at the most significant position, I have the 1. But the unsigned right shift value fills the at the left hand side with the 0. That's why the sign will be lost and we get a very, very large numbers will be returned. This is the drawback of the right shift operator. So at the left hand side, normally what is right shift? At the left hand side, zeros has to append it. If you append the 0, the sign bit will be lost. That is the drop. That's why this particular we represent with three greater than symbol. This is called as the unsigned right shift operator. The unsigned right shift operator will not preserve the sign bit. To preserve the sign bit, we need to use the signed right shift operator. That is two less than symbols. That is the two less than symbol. We should do. So with respect to positive values, we can use this particular unsigned right shift. But with respect to positive values, we should not use unsigned right shift operator. So I think you will understand what is the difference between signed shift right operator and unsigned shift operator operators. So next topic is relational operators. So whenever you want to compare two variables or to any strings, we will use double equal to. If you want to compare not equal, we use the this by exclusive mark and is equal to. You already know about greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or unequal to. And here next topic is Boolean logic operators. So here we have different Boolean logic operators we are having, that is logical and logical or, logical exclusive or, and short circuit or, and short circuit end operator, and assignment operator. So like that is all the operators you know, and also ternary operator is also which is available. So we will see each and every operator purpose, how we need to use it one by one with respect to a small program. So see here this particular program, then you can already know that. So here I have a is equal to true and I have b is equal to false. And if here what I am doing, c is equal to a or b, true false, what if a part is true and true false is true only. That's why C contains the value. So whenever if you print C, it is going to print the true value. And next, after that you have A and B. A is true and B is false. True and false will become false. That's why whenever you print value D, it's going to print false only. A or B. You already know. What is A or B? True, false. So true, false is what? True. That's why whenever you print E value, that is true. And F. So in this here, with respect to f variable, we have written one simple condition. What we have written, negation of a. What is negation of a? A is true. Negation of a will become false. And what is b? False. False and false will become false. And here a is true and negation. What is negation of b? False negation become true. That's why true and true becomes true. So if what is the operator between these two expressions is or operator. Any one is true automatically. So false true will become true only. That's why the condition will produce true here in the output. And next, so like this we can use this particular logical operators. Already in the C programming language you are already use these all the operators in your in your mathematics also. You are having these concepts. So the new operators which are introduced in this particular Java programming language is short circuit logical operators. What is short circuit logical operators? I will explain through a good diagram. Then you can better understand what is meant by this particular short circuit logical operators. So rather than using the normal operator, normal OR operator, we use a double OR between. So what this particular double OR indicates is normally how the what is OR operator is. For example, in an expression, if you are having true and false, for example, true and false. So once, for example, by evaluating one expression, we retrieved true, and by retrieving another expression, we retrieved false. Now, for example, if the first expression is true, then irrespective of the second expression is false, true, yeah, automatically what will happen? The result of this particular expression will be true only. Why? Because if the first one is true, whether it is the second part is a true or false, total overall expression is true. That is why what the short circuit logical order tells you, there is no need of evaluating the second part. If the first part is true, then no need of evaluating the second expression. Directly we can declare that the total expression is true only. But when we need to verify the second expression is, for example, if the first part is false, then compulsory we need to verify whether the second part is true or not. That is the advantage of the short circuit logical operators. I again repeat. For example, you are having one expression like this: A greater than B or A greater than C. So like this you are having one expression. Now, for example, if A greater than B is true, then what is the need of evaluating whether A greater than C is true or false? Why? Because if the first is true, true or false is true. That is the reason why whether it is true or false, well, there is no need of automatically expression. I can declare that without evaluating A greater than C, I can declare the expression is true. Why? Because if it is A greater than C is false, true only. If A greater than C is true, true only. That is the reason why. So what short circuit logical operator tell is there is no need of, if the first expression is true, there is no need of evaluating the second expression. That is advantage of the short circuit logical operator in terms of short circuit OR operator. Like that, we have short circuit AND operator is also there. What the short circuit AND operator is tells is, for example, when this particular, what is the condition of AND operator? And so it is the final output is when it's true, the first part is true and second part both are true only, it is the true. For example, if I evaluating one expression A greater than B and A greater than C, by A greater than B and A greater than C, if you declare A greater than B as a false, if you declare A greater than B as a false, automatically A greater than C is true. What happens? It becomes false only. So that's why there is the first expression is false, automatically we can declare that expression as a false. That is the how we can reduce the time. So this is the advantage of the short circuit logical operators. So by this particular diagram, you can better understand how this particular short circuit logical operators are going to be work. Here initially we have taken x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 15. So if I done plus plus x, so let us try to evaluate. So initially what will happen? It will be incremented. So the value will become 11. 11 less than 10. What? False. If it is false, then there is no need of, so 11 less than 10. So what is 11 less than 10? It is a false. Then there is no need of evaluating whether this particular expression is true or false. So like this, the Java program will be worked out. A short circuit AND operator and logical operators are going to be worked out. Like this, OR operator also. So next operator is the ternary operator. Next operator is the ternary operator. What is the ternary operator is, by writing a small program, I can demonstrate what is the ternary operator. So what is ternary operator is, here we can write a simple thing. Int I is equal to 10, j is equal to 5, j is equal to 5. And now we write that this particular ternary operator. So let us write the statement. So we need one string variable, string k, and k is equal to, if I greater than j, question mark, ternary operator condition, after that question mark, and we need to put a message I is, if I is greater than j, we need to print I is larger than j. Else part we write like this, after colon, else I is smaller than j, close the double quotes and put semicolon. Now we have written the ternary operator like this. So if I greater than j, the k will contains the I is larger than j, otherwise it contains I is larger than, I is smaller than j. Now let us print statement system.out.println k. So let us compile this program and execute. Now it is getting I is larger than j. So this is how we can write the program, how by using the ternary operator. So ternary operator means question mark and colon. null operator is question mark equal. Let us see the next topic. So next one is operator precedence. What is operator precedence is highest precedence which operator is. This is the chart which is explaining highest precedence. So the postfix operator is having the highest priority among the operators. Highest priority is given for the postfix. Then highest priority is given for the postfix decrement operator. Postfix increment operator is the highest priority. Next is having the postfix decrement operator. The least priority is given for the operation and is equal to. Then after that operation is equal to is having highest. Like this, each and every operator is having its own priority. In terms of arithmetic operators, multiplication is having highest, next to division, next to modulo operator. So like this is the operational precedence chart. So if you want to overcome the precedence, how we can overcome is, for example, here I have an expression a by 4 plus c according to precedence. So which one is having highest precedence? So the divide by is having highest precedence compared with the remaining operator, first one. Other than that, I want to perform my own operations. So how we can overcome this particular precedence is by using the parenthesis. By using the parenthesis, parenthesis will reduce the precedence. So this is how we can overcome from the precedence. We can evaluate the expression according to our own requirement. By this, our topic precedence is complete. By this, operators topic is completed. In the coming next classes, we will discuss remaining topics. Thank you very much.